here we are going to see position of a line with respect to a circle. The way we are going to discuss this concept is same as the way we have discussed position of a point with respect to a circle. You see, we took three cases there. Here also it's the same thing. I have three circles. Okay, now you see, I can have line intersecting the circle, or line touching the circle, or line disjoint from the circle. These are the three cases possible. Now you are saying that it is intersecting or touching or disjoint by looking at the pictures, but without looking at the pictures, just by looking at the algebra, we are going to say whether the circle is intersecting the line or touching the line or disjoint from the line. For that, we take the help of distance from center to the line and the radius. We are going to see relation between distance from center to the line and the radius. Let me call center as C, and let the foot of the perpendicular from the center onto the line as N. Let the foot be N. We know that when the line is touching the circle, and if I join the point of contact and the center, then that radius is perpendicular to the tangent. Okay, here the foot is N. Now you can see that in this case the distance from center to the line is less than the radius. This is radius, this is the distance. We have distance from center to the line is less than the radius. In this case, distance from center to the line is equal to radius. That is when it is touching that. Now here, distance from center to the line is more than the radius. So this is what we say. Suppose capital N is the foot of the perpendicular from the center C of a circle to a line L, onto a line L. The line L intersects or touches or disjoint from the circle C according as Cn is less than, equal to, greater than R. It is such a simple common sense concept. Now we are going to see condition for the line y equal to mx plus c to be a tangent to the circle x square plus y square equal to r square. Observe carefully, I am not taking the general circle, I am taking the circle whose center is at the origin. Okay, now what is the condition? For the line to touch the circle, the distance from center to the line should be equal to radius. That is the condition. Center is 0, 0, radius is r, and the line equation is y equal to mx plus c. Now line touches the circle if and only if distance from center to the line. I apply distance formula, I'll get mod c by root of 1 plus m square is equal to radius, and the radius is r. Now you square it on both the sides and send the denominator to the other side. You'll get c square is equal to r square into 1 plus m square. We by heart this as a formula. The condition for y equal to mx plus c to be a tangent to the circle x square plus y square equal to r square is c square is equal to r square into 1 plus m square. It's an if and only if condition. By heart it. Now the previous condition, it was for the circle having center at the origin. Over here we are going to find equation to the tangent. Now this statement, whatever you are seeing here, it means that, so we are given the circle, general circle s equal to 0. So if it is the general circle, whatever we are going to say, it even works for the circle having center at the origin, because it is true in general case. Now we know that for s equal to 0, the center is nothing but minus g comma minus f. Suppose we are given a point on the circle P x1 comma y1. The point lies on the circle. Now we have to give equation to the tangent at that point. We already know all this story. From the first year calculus, we know not only for circle, for any differentiable curve, how to find equation to the tangent at a point. So that is what we follow even here. See, the curve is x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 0. Now to find equation to the tangent, as it is a straight line, we need slope and point. See, point is already there. All that you need is slope. And for the slope, differentiate the curve, substitute the point, you will get slope of the tangent at that point. So that's what I am going to do. I am going to differentiate implicitly. So it is 2x plus 2yy dash plus 2g plus 2fy dash is equal to 0. From this I have y dash is equal to minus of g plus x by f plus y I am getting after simplifying and all that. Okay, you want slope at x1 comma y1. So y dash at x1 comma y1 is equal to minus of g plus x1 by f plus y1. Now you have slope of the tangent and you have a point on the tangent. We can find equation to the tangent. So writing equation to the line, it is g plus x1 into x plus f plus y1 into y is equal to g plus x1 into x1 plus f plus y1 into y1. Now I told you this is how I write a line equation usually, but if you are not comfortable with this type of equation, then simply write the way you like. You have slope, you have point, you know how to write equation to the line. Now I simplify this. I want you to observe, I am getting xx1 plus yy1 plus gx plus fy is equal to, what am I getting on the right hand side? I have x1 square plus y1 square plus gx1 plus fy1 I got. So we have equation to the tangent. But what I do is, to make things simple, I am going to add a gx1 on both the sides. So when I add a gx1, I make it 2gx1 here. And I am going to add a fy1 on both the sides. So I make it 2fy1 here. And I am going to add a c on both the sides. Now you can see that under the notation that we have discussed earlier, this is nothing but s1 and this is nothing but s11, nothing but substituting the point in the circle equation. Observe that the point lies on the circle. So when you substitute the point in the circle equation, it satisfies. That means it becomes 0. So I am getting equation to the tangent at x1 comma y1 as s1 equal to 0. Okay, so observe that we have derived the formula for the generalized circle so that you can apply the formula to any circle of your choice. Whatever the circle they may give, you can simply apply this formula. So moral of the story is, to the circle s equal to 0, the tangent at x1 comma y1 is nothing but s1 equal to 0. We by heart this as a formula. So writing equation to the tangent is an easy job. But sometimes what they do is they give us equation to the circle, and also they say that a line is tangent to the circle, and they ask for the point of contact. Okay, one way of doing things is you simply go for foot of the perpendicular from the center onto the given line. There you get the point of contact. But now, instead of using this concept, I am going to show you another way of doing the things. Now, this may be a little lengthy, but a very useful technique. One should master this technique. Okay? Now, in my later videos, I am going to refer to this technique as technique 1. Okay? I call the whatever the technique I am going to employ in this problem, I call it as technique 1 for the rest of coordinate geometry itself, not only for circles. Okay? So this is how I am going to do. Observe that we are given a circle and a line. I mean, it is given that the line is touching the circle. Equation to the circle, you can see it is x square plus y square minus 6x plus 4y minus 12 equal to 0. And the line equation is 4x minus 3y plus 7 equal to 0. Now, we have to find the point of contact. What I do is, I assume the point of contact to be x1 comma y1. Now, we know that equation to the tangent at x1 comma y1 is s1 equal to 0. So, writing s1 equal to 0, I get xx1 plus yy1 minus 3x minus 3x1 plus 2y plus 2y1 minus 12 equal to 0 I get. Now, rewriting so that we have all x terms at one place and y terms at one place, I have x1 minus 3 into x plus y1 plus 2 into y plus the constant part, that is minus 3x1 plus 2y1 minus 12 equal to 0. Now this equation, and observe that this is the equation to this line, but he already gave this as equation to this line. So both the equations represent the same line. Therefore, x1 minus 3 by 4 is equal to y1 plus 2 by minus 3 is equal to minus 3x1 plus 2y1 minus 12 by the constant over here, that is 7. Now, using 8th class ratio and proportion concept, I am going to write one more ratio here. Okay, we apply this in a little clever way. What I do is, here I am going to multiply numerator and denominator by a 3 because I see minus 3 here. And here I am going to multiply numerator and denominator by a minus 2 because I see 2 there. And then I am going to add all the 3 ratios, adding numerators by adding denominators, I will get one more ratio. I want you to observe, here I am going to multiply by 3 and here by minus 2, and then I am going to add all numerators by all denominators. We know it, we can write like that from ratio and proportion. So when I do that, you can see 3x1 here minus 3x1 here, they get cancelled, and minus 2y1 here plus 2y1, they also get cancelled. So I am left with this minus 9 and this minus 4 and here a minus 12 by, in the denominator it is 12 plus 6 plus 7. So ultimately we are getting it as minus 25 by 25. That means I am getting it as minus 1. So this is one more ratio you can write, which is equal to these three ratios. Now I simply take the first one and the last one. So I'll get x1 minus 3 by 4 equal to minus 1, or I have x1 minus 3 is equal to 4, equal to minus 4. And from this I'll have x1 is equal to minus 1. And equating the second ratio and the new ratio, I have y plus 2 by minus 3 is equal to minus 1. Or I have y plus 2 is equal to 3. Or from this I have y is equal to, y1. y1 is equal to 1. Therefore, we are getting x1 comma y1 as minus 1 comma 1, which is nothing but point of contact of the tangent. As I mentioned earlier, very useful technique. Instead of trying to avoid this technique, I want you all to master the technique. Such an important technique that I have given a name to this. We are going to call this as technique 1 throughout coordinate geometry. So what are we doing here in this technique? You are asked to find the point of contact. So I am going to give a name to the point of contact, and then I write S1 is equal to 0, and then I say this equation, or rather this equation and this equation both are same, therefore the corresponding coefficients are in proportion. And rest is obvious. Applying this concept of 8th class here, I have discussed this in the very beginning of first year. So you can simply apply that ratio and proportion concept. You can write one more ratio and then you can give the point of contact. Okay, one more concept. Okay, here we are going to see equation to chord joining 2 points. Suppose we are given the circle equation S is equal to 0. Okay, that circle is given S equal to 0 and 2 points on it, x1 y1 and x2 y2. We are going to find equation to the chord joining these 2 points. Yeah, it is true that you can simply apply 2-point formula, but we are going to put this equation in this form. Rather, we are going to show that its equation is nothing but S1 plus S2 is equal to S12. I hope you all remember these notations. We know that S stands for x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c. That is what S stands for. S1 stands for xx1 plus yy1 plus g into x plus x1 plus f into y plus y1 plus c. That is what S1 stands for. Similarly, you can write S2. Okay, now I am not writing S2, but let me write S12. S12 is equal to x1 x2 plus y1 y2 plus g into x1 plus x2 plus f into y1 plus y2 plus c. Observe that if I substitute the point x1 comma y1 in this, the expression I get is x1 square plus y1 square plus 2gx1 plus 2fy1 plus c, which we called as S11. Okay, I also want you to observe that in this one, if I substitute the point x1 comma y1, then again here this also becomes x1 square plus y1 square plus g into 2gx1, g into x1 plus x1, that will be 2gx1 plus 2fy1 plus c. So this also transforms to, after substituting x1 y1, this transforms to S11. And one more thing I want you to observe is, in this one again, if I substitute the point x2 comma y2 in the place of x and y, if I substitute x2 comma y2, you can see that the expression becomes x2 x1, rather I write x1 x2 plus y1 y2 plus g into x1 plus x2 plus f into y1 plus y2 plus c I get. Okay, so you can see that this is nothing but S12. So these simple things I hope you all observed. In S, if I put x1 y1, then the expression becomes S11. In S1, if I put x1 y1, then this also turns into S11. In S1, if I substitute x2 y2, then it is turning into S12. These points, first of all, observe, these are very simple points. Okay. Now, before going further into the derivation of the equation of this line, I want you to observe this small problem. We have to find equation to the line joining the points 2, 3 and 0, -2. Yeah, it is true that you can simply find equation to line joining these 2 points. But I am going to do in a different way. This method is not recommended while doing problems of this type, but logically it is correct. Okay, so this is what I do. What I do is I check whether this satisfies these 2 points. Now if this satisfies these 2 points, obviously it is going to be equation to the line joining those 2. I substitute the point 2, 3 in this, then I observe that I am getting 2 plus 3 to 6 is equal to 8. It is satisfying, this line is satisfying this point. Now let me verify whether this satisfies this point also. Substituting I am getting 0 minus 4 is equal to 8 is there, not satisfying. Therefore, this is not equation to the line. Now let us check option B. So if I substitute this point in this, I observe that 5 to 10 minus 3 to 6, that 10 minus 6 is 4. You are getting 4 equal to 4. Therefore, this is satisfying this point. Similarly, if I substitute this one, you can see that it is 0 and minus 2 into minus 2, it is 4. You are getting again 4 equal to 4. Therefore, this is also satisfying. That means this is equation to the line joining those 2 points. Once again, though this is a correct method, but this is not a recommended method to do such problems. But it is a correct method, and this is the method I am going to employ in the above theorem. Okay, so to derive equation to this line, I am simply going to show that this is going to satisfy these 2 points. Okay, so to show that it satisfies those 2 points, let me show that this is satisfying this point first. So substituting x1 y1 in this, in S1, if I put x1 y1, we just observed, in S1, if we put x1 y1, it is becoming S11. And in S1, if I put x2 y2, it becomes S12. So here we are substituting x1 y1 in S1. So it becomes S11 plus in S2 if I put x1 y1, it becomes S12. On the right hand side, S12 is constant. Observe that in S12 there is no varying quantity, everything is fixed. So it is as it is, there is nothing to substitute there. Now I want you to observe that S11 is 0 because the point x1 y1 lies on s equal to 0, and when you substitute the point in s equal to 0, you are going to have it as s11 equal to 0. Therefore this is going to be 0. So you are getting S12 equal to S12. That means this equation S1 plus S2 equal to S12 satisfies the point x1 y1. Similarly, we can show that it also satisfies the point x2 y2. Therefore, S1 plus S2 equal to S12 is nothing but equation to the chord joining the points x1 y1 and x2 y2, and observe that the chord is for the circle s equal to 0. Last concept for this class, parametric equations of the chord joining theta 1 and theta 2. See, we are given the circle s is equal to 0. Okay, the circle is s equal to 0, general circle, mind you. And we will be given 2 points on the circle. Say theta 1 and theta 2. 2 points are given on the circle. Now we are going to find chord joining theta 1 and theta 2. That's what we are going to do. Okay. Now, first of all, I want you to observe that the parametric equations, if you want to write, you should know center of the circle. We know that center is nothing but minus g comma minus f. And you should also know radius of the circle. We know that radius of s equal to 0 is nothing but root of g square plus f square minus c. Let us call this as r for fun. You see, I am not going to use this full thing. So I am going to simply call wherever I have to write this one, I am simply going to write only r there. Okay. So with this center and radius, we can write the parametric equations of the circle. X is equal to x1 plus r cos theta. So that is minus g plus r cos theta, and y equal to y1 plus r sin theta. Okay, these are the parametric equations. Now if you remember, this only we simply call it as theta we said. So if we say theta is a point, we mean to say, if I say p of theta is a point, we mean to say the point having coordinates minus g plus r cos theta, comma minus f plus r sin theta. So when we say theta 1 here, it stands for this one here. Similarly, q of theta 1, it is going to be minus g plus r cos theta 2, comma minus f plus r sin theta 2 you get. Now we have to find the chord joining these two. You can see how lengthy it is going to be. So to make the thing simple, this is what I am going to do. What I do is, suppose I have origin somewhere here. Okay, that is the origin. Now I am going to shift the origin to this point. So this is going to be my new x-axis and this is going to be my new y-axis. So let me write the new coordinates for p and q. We know that from translation and rotation of axis, it is capital X is equal to small x minus h and capital Y is equal to small y minus k. Those are the formula that connect new coordinates and old coordinates when the center is shifted to, the origin is shifted to h comma k. Here h comma k is nothing but minus g comma minus f. Therefore, the new coordinates of p will be in the new system. P will be, this is small x and you have to subtract h from that. H is nothing but minus g. So from small x, when I subtract minus g, this minus g and that minus g will get cancelled, and ultimately you will have x coordinate as r cos theta 1. Similarly, y coordinate will be r sin theta 1. Likewise, writing the coordinates of q in the new system, its q of theta 2 is nothing but r cos theta 2 comma r sin theta 2. And now let's find equation to the chord in the new system. Let's first find its slope. Slope is going to be r times sin theta 1 minus sin theta 2 by r into cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2. Okay, cancelling r's, and in the numerator and denominator applying transformation formula, numerator is 2 cos theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2 sin theta 1 minus theta 2 by 2 by the denominator minus 2 sin theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2 sin theta 1 minus theta 2 by 2. Now cancelling these things, this is the slope, minus cos theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2 by sin theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2. Therefore, equation to the chord in the new system is capital X cos of theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2 plus capital Y sine theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2 is equal to, it is passing through the point. You can take any one of these points, but the coordinate should be from the new system. That means either you can take this point or this point. So taking this point for fun, I'll have it as r cos theta 1 into cos of theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2 plus r sin theta 1 into sin of theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2. So this is what I told you earlier. If you cannot write the line equation directly, then you can follow whatever the way you know. We already have slope and the point, so I am simply applying this formula. Okay, so you can see that it is going to be x cos theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2 plus y sin theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2 is equal to r times, on the right hand side you can see that it is cos of a minus b formula ultimately, so I'll have it as cos of theta 1 minus theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2. Okay, so we have equation to the chord joining theta 1 and theta 2 in the new system. So to find it in the original system, again in the place of capital X and capital Y, we write small x and small y. So it's going to be x plus g into cos of theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2 plus y plus f into sin of theta 1 plus theta 2 by 2 is equal to r cos, you take LCM inside, you can see that you are getting theta 1 minus theta 2 by 2. We by heart this as a formula.